That set of these bigs is going to impose their will, not just offensively, but defensively too.
Let's check out Minnesota's starting lineup. Conley and Ant are the 1 and the 2. Rudy Gobert is out there with Julius Randle. And it's McDaniels in at the small forward position. Now here's Nurkic. Outside Booker. Pass to Durant. Outside Jones. Just 5 on the clock. Shoots over Randle. It's wide right. Hits off the rim.
That's a shot he'd like back. He's usually going to make those.
And here's Conley. Charity stripe shot. And he nails the jumper.
Basketball can be very simple. If you can let Conley run the pick and roll, it's normally a good thing.
Booker surveying the floor. Pass to Durant. Three-pointer. Yes! And it's Booker with the setup.
And that's what they want to do. Get him open looks early.
About a minute and a half through the first quarter. And that one's good for Conley. Conley's got his second basket.
Right there, Conley working his magic inside. He is crafty near the rack.
Jones drives in. Oh, the teardrop falls in.
Boy, that was a sweet-looking teardrop. There's very little defense for that.
And so it's Conley who brings up the ball for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Outside McDaniels. Pass to Edwards. To the middle. McDaniels can't hit.
That's the shot you hope for. Right at the rim. Just couldn't capitalize.
Beal with it. Durant with a screen on McDaniels. Jones with the ball. He's guarded by Conley. Out to Beal. Pulls it from the top of the key. And another basket for Phoenix.
We know Beal can do this all
night long. I mean, he's got an exceptional
Timeout.
for finding points.
Clark, with Minnesota being a major player in the West now, Wolves Nation is howling.
howling and growling, B.A. That's the name of their fan base. And, yeah, they're excited. And for good reason. Not only is this team competitive, but they can be downright dominant at times, especially at the defensive end of the floor. Easy group to cheer for.
Here come the T-shirts, everyone. Who wants one? Get on your feet right now, crowd. It's time to fire off some T-shirts. Who wants a T-shirt?
First quarter of basketball, just over 2.5 minutes played so far. McDaniels passes to Edwards. Back to Daniels. Gobert inside. Nurkic is there.
Stay clear of Gobert on the dunk now. The force he goes to the rim with is mighty.
And so it's Jones who brings up the ball for the Suns. Nurkic, a screen on McDaniels. Beal finds Jones. And another basket for Phoenix.
When the defense gives you room, take Durant is still a bit overlooked as a defender and shot blocker.
Clock is at 3. For 3, Randall. The rebound by Devin Booker. Phoenix leading by 3. Randall pulls down the board. The Timberwolves have gone 3 of 6 from the floor. And Gobert with the stop.
Gobert. Is a big target, especially when he's roaming around that rim.
For Phoenix, they've gone 4 of 7, shooting a solid percentage. Durant has the open look, and that one. Off the back of the... rim and in. Durant's got 5 now.
Well, I'm not sure how that one found the bottom of the net, but hey, you take it when it comes.
Here's McDaniels, and he was fouled in the act of shooting. Opportunity for a three-point play here.
Bradley Beal.
Well, McDaniels wasn't going to be
Right.
But we can still enjoy that part of it, the development part that we haven't had for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exciting when rookies do something, and now we have 2 of them for the first time in like 4 years, which is super exciting. There's just a different energy when those guys go out and do something. Get a like up in the chat for the rookies if you like what you saw tonight, because those guys are living up to everything that we've heard coming out of training camp at media day, that like these rookies are not your typical rookies. And you feel like every team probably has guys that come out and say that about their first-year players, but we're starting to see it now, which is, it feels like a different animal than what we've had here lately, so that's exciting.
Yeah, we'll dive deeper into the rookies a little bit later on in the program, but first, let's take an overview of this game by looking inside the box, presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes.
What's in the box is a 105-97 win over the Pistons. That probably should have been a lot more, but in garbage time kind of got a little bit closer there. The Suns shot 45% overall to the Pistons 41% on the threes. Holy crap, you guys.
The threes!
46 three-point attempts. They only made 14 down the stretch. The Suns took a couple of threes that made their percentage a little bit worse, only shot 35%. Pistons only got up 33 threes and shot 30%. Man, it is nice to be on the other side of the equation where one team is taking 10 plus more threes than the other. Steals and blocks, this one was interesting to me. The Suns had 20 combined steals plus blocks. The Pistons only had 10. That Ryan Dunn guy, he's out there wreaking havoc.
He's pretty good, huh?
Turnovers. We talk about turnovers a lot on this program. Pistons had 20, Suns only had 13. And then the points in the paint, we mentioned this last game. This is going to be an area where the Suns will need to be a little bit better. Only 30 points in the paint for the Suns, 42 for the Pistons. But again, we want them to be taking a high percentage of their shots from three. 46 of their 87 shot attempts tonight were from beyond the arc, which, I mean, Monty and Frank Vogel would be rolling over in their graves right now if they saw that here. That's crazy.
46, Gerald.
It's insane.
That's insane.
That's nuts. Those are Boston Celtics numbers.
Like, what are we doing? I'm so here for it, too. And the best part about it, too, is that, like, okay, Devin was 0 for 6 from 3. I don't care. It's preseason. I literally don't care. He kept shooting them.
Right.
And that's what I wanted to see. Like, just give us more.
Yes.
One of them will eventually go in at some point in time, even if it's the next game. I don't care. And the other thing, too, is it doesn't feel like they're forcing it.
No.
Right? It's coming naturally. The ball movement, the player movement, it all looks really good, and it's paying dividends.
Yeah. No, it looks like nothing is forced. Like, it's one thing if they were to come out here and just jack up a bunch of bad shots, but it does feel like everything's coming within the flow of the offense. There are some that they're taking in transition, but you want to be taking those threes. There was one that Tyus Jones, they had a fast break, and he pulled up before the three-point line like it was lava or something.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? He made
and
that shit.
That speaks to the mindset that Mike Budenholzer is ingraining in this team. Like, if you have an inch of space, if you can let that fly, do it. And we've heard Monty and Frank Vogel say, we want to shoot more threes, let it fly, all this stuff. But now we're actually seeing it in action. And again, it's 2 preseason games.
I love that you can really hit those shots in this game, bro. I love that, bro. It's so realistic.
With how many threes Kevin Durant got up, I think 6 of his 12 shot attempts were from beyond the arc. The other night, half of Devin Booker's were from beyond the arc. He took 6 threes, didn't make any, but 6 of 13 shot attempts from 3. These guys are buying in to what Budenholzer was preaching. That was one of our biggest concerns coming into the season. And so far, it looks like they are living it.
And I even yesterday was hesitant to, like, fully get on board with, like, are we going to revert back, though, come regular season? Like, they're the mid-range assassins for a reason. Like, they're phenomenal in that midi game. I don't know. Now I'm feeling a little bit better about leaning into it. Yeah. And letting the overreaction completely consume me.
We're getting closer. I will say that, like, Lakers in preseason and, you know, the Pistons in general,
I know.
I can't give too much to it yet, but they are trying to do that. I think better defenses will do a better job of limiting them because 46 attempts is insane, but they clearly have a plan in mind and it's working so far.
Yeah. I think it's really important. With the preseason, it's just about process. And you look back to last season, it was what got them down. Well, it felt like there wasn't a good process for them to follow. There was just roll the ball out and play basketball.
Right.
It doesn't matter who they're playing or how many shots they hit right now because, again, it's preseason game 2. There is already an identity. There's a process, and it's a process that has been shown to lead to at least deep playoff success and sometimes championships.
Yeah.
There's never been a question about the talent level of this roster. It's about can they put it all together, and it's really encouraging from a fan perspective to see them taking threes and to see them buying in when it doesn't matter.
Right.
So then when it does, that feels like it's even going to be a step up more.
Yeah.
In my opinion. They might go back in the regular season and shoot middies, but I don't think so.
Let's roll with yours. I'm good with yours.
Me too. I want to roll with that. Stick with the first thing.
Let's do that, yeah.
Let's stay there. Living that
But I think that was one thing that was a little bit nerve-wracking or kind of scary, I suppose, if you were a Suns fan this offseason. And one of the reasons why it was kind of hard to really get excited for this upcoming season is that, you know, in a way we did run it back, if you will, quote unquote, with obviously the big 3 and whatnot. And there's, you know, everyone's been talking like on paper, yes, the Suns are good. And you have the talent, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. You are automatically in that conversation, but we're just unsure after last season what it's going to look like, what it's going to be. And now we're starting to see glimpses, hopefully, of what it will be. And it's kind of hard not to let yourself get a little excited about things and what the future could be for the season.
Yeah, and that's the thing is if you look through the first 2 preseason games, we haven't had, like, in the first game, Booker was really good. Beal was just okay. Kevin Durant really struggled. Tonight, Kevin Durant was really good. Beal was better. And Booker kind of struggled.
Yeah.
We haven't had a game where, like, the big 3 just came out guns blazing and it was like, oh, yeah, these are our superstars. This is what the team was built around. The encouraging part that we've seen from the preseason so far to me is the complementary pieces have shown what they're going to be able to do. And when you combine what they've been doing with what we expect the big 3 to do on a night-in, night-out basis once the season starts, like, that's the part that I'm like, this team still has another gear to go because, you know, obviously they're only playing, you know, 15, 20 minutes a game in preseason. But once things start getting serious and these guys start playing like the superstars and the stars that we know them to be, that's when this team can really turn it up another notch.
Well, yeah, and there's a complete difference in the way that KD, Book, and Beal and the veterans on the squad approach a preseason game compared to Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro, as there should be, right? Like,
yeah.
And some of the other guys too, like they're out there trying to prove themselves. They're fighting to get maybe that one leg up on the other guy for more minutes or a spot in the rotation or whatever it may be. When you look at the more veterans, this is kind of just like getting into game ready shape almost, if you will, and like running through the motions of things. Not that they don't take it seriously, but there's just different levels to this type of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We can't talk about the threes. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here.
Okay.
But we can't talk about threes. We're talking about that one specific. We could dive deeper into threes from Ryan Dunn. But are you kidding me? I think the entire Suns universe almost exploded when Ryan Dunn hit that transition pull-up three after swiping it away from Cade Cunningham. What?
That was nuts. That was a surreal moment. I think I floated outside my body and looked down and was just watching an amazing.
Bro, that shit was crazy.
That's confidence. That speaks to the work ethic that we've been talking about with him. And B, like,
shout out to Ryan Dunn,
man. This kid can't hit threes at even a semi-respectable rate. Already. The defense that we've been seeing through these first 2 preseason games is exactly what we're going to expect from him.
Well, and it's not just that he's hitting threes. He's hitting tough shots.
Right.
Contested shots. On the break, top of the key pull-up threes. Again, I'm going to say irresponsible things about Ryan Dunn.
Oh, boy.
Hold on for that.
This dude's insane. Okay,
I'm going to let you say your irresponsible things about Ryan Dunn in here in just a minute. So you guys are going to have to stay tuned for that. But first, we're going to take a quick break. To remind you that Gila River Resorts and Casinos has an unprecedented level of entertainment that you will not find anywhere else. No one does it better than our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Whether you are just looking for some rest and relaxation on maybe a staycation, if you're looking to play one of the over 4,500 slots and live table games they have, they've got the when you use the okay. Let's continue talking about our guy Ryan Dunn.
Let's do it.
Are you like how surprised are you about the three, right? Because I genuinely did not expect this in the first 2 preseason games from Ryan Dunn. Like his confidence feels like it's through the roof right now when it comes to that.
It does, and it's taking threes in transition. He took one that was a step back off the dribble.
Oh my God,
today.
Ryan Dunn is a beast,
not
man.
hesitating
He's
at
a
all.
fucking beast.
You hear guys say things like that, but then on the court it can sometimes be a different story. So the fact that he is coming out here and taking 5 threes tonight, he took 6 the other night. Like, yes, it's going to matter that he continues to hit them and not just take them, but like, so far, process-wise, the stroke looks good, the confidence is up, he's put in the work, so it's hard not to feel optimistic about the 3-ball right now. I know it's only 2 preseason games. I don't want to get ahead of myself because there will be ebbs and flows. Most rookies hit what's called the rookie wall at some point around midway through the season. That's a very real thing. But, like, I can't complain about anything right now. I had no expectations that he would be coming out, taking this many threes, showing this confidence, and actually hitting some of them. And off the dribble, in transition, like on a fast break. Like, what is happening here?
What is this like? What dimension did we enter into prior to preseason starting?
We heard the Suns say that, like, he showed a lot of things in workouts, but you can kind of just assume a lot of the time, okay, he was really good defensively. He did everything else, and they have faith that the shot will come along. The shot is already in the process of coming along.
Yeah,
like, it's arriving.
On Sunday night, he was 2 of 6 from deep. 2 of 5, really. That last one, we're just not going to count it.
We can't change the numbers. But.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's whatever. And then 3 of 5 tonight. Like, in no way, shape, or form did I expect in the first 2 preseason games, for Ryan Dunn to attempt 11 threes, let alone make 5 of them. Like, I would have guessed maybe 2 to 3 each game at most, and make one of them.
I tweeted this out. He has made 5 threes in 2 preseason games. In 35 games at Virginia, he made 7 threes total. It's insane.
The thing about Virginia is not an offensive-minded basketball team.
No.
At all. In fact, they play some of the ugliest, most lockdown basketball in college. And he was the 3rd leading scorer on that team. But the thing that always struck me was, I knew people were out on his jump shot, but it never looked bad.
No.
Like, he didn't have a Michael Kidd-Gilchrist type jump shot. Like, it looked good. And he always had the confidence, and we heard a bunch of people talk about how hungry he was to get better. The thing is, if he can hit threes like this, which I understand it's 2 games through preseason, and you can't rely on this to be replicated through 82 games, I think there's a strong chance that he is in contention to be the first guy off the bench and to even be the spot starter if somebody is injured, especially somebody like Kevin Durant, because his athleticism, his defense, his intangibles, as we saw against Cade Cunningham, if he can do, 70% of what he's been shooting from 3 as far as volume and percentage goes over these last couple of games, that is a really scary NBA player. As his first-year rookie, what's going to happen the next couple of years? Like, that's so exciting.
Right. We've talked a lot about the defense, but to your point, Eric, like, he has improved the handle as well. Like, the ability to just dribble up the court in transition is something that we only saw in, like, fast break scenarios. And for him to come up the court, measure up the situation, take that pull-up 3, like, he's also done some things with the handle that I haven't really seen much at Virginia either. And yes, it's their defense is so smothering that sometimes it smothers their offense over at Virginia. But these are all things that he's clearly been working on improving. So that is really encouraging, because the athleticism, the defense, the size, those are all things that this Suns team really needs.
So Andy in the chat said, I think Dunn accepted the challenge and worked hard on his shot. Lucky for us, he picks things up quick, and KD seems to love him. Bees also said approach with caution, but we're lying if he hasn't shattered our projected ceiling for his offensive potential.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's being shattered.
You're not wrong. But defensively, though, too, like, even though we knew kind of more what we were going to get in that area from Ryan Dunn, it still has been great to see.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been having some tough assignments. Granted, again, it's only preseason, but he has been thrown at some really good, solid players so far, defensive assignment-wise.
It's been LeBron, it's been Cade Cunningham. That's really been impressive. And if he can just continue to get up those reps on the 3 ball, like, his shot, the release of it can still be a little inconsistent from shot to shot in terms of the mechanics of it. But as he continues to take those reps, I think those things will be ironed out, because it is not a bad-looking shot at all.
Yeah. All right, we do have a super chat here that we will get to from Rudy. Thank you, Rudy. They said, my overreaction, Dunn will get 30 minutes a night, shoot 40% from 3.
Oh, man.
On a serious note, our identity should be that of a scrappy team that gets steals and runs in transition. That will be our defense for the season. Yes. Okay, so that's Rudy's overreaction.
Fuck.
Eric? What's your overreaction after you saw that 3?
Ryan Dunn might be the greatest son of all time. No, I think that's a good overreaction if we're making sure that we know that is an overreaction. Hopefully at some point in his career, Ryan Dunn can play 30-plus minutes a game, and if he hits 40% from 3 with his defense, we're talking an all-star.
Right.
We're not talking a good role player fit along Devin Booker. We're talking about somebody to help Devin Booker enter the next era of his career.
Right.
And it's preseason game 2. I'm going to continue to say that, but I'm going to say it with a smile on my face, because at least we have this. We have a moment to look at, and if his jump shot doesn't look great during the season, to me, I'll still have more faith that it's going to work out now, because in some sort of game setting, we saw him shoot it well and confidently, and it looks like the coaching staff is going to enable him to be his best self, and maybe that's what happened at Virginia, where he was only enabled to do certain things on offense, and that didn't translate to the tape, didn't translate to the draft, but help the Suns get a steal, so it all works out.
Yeah, thank you, Tony Bennett.
Oh my God!
Shout out to
Ryan Dunn,
aka the Suns for for doing a really good job in the draft this season.
Wait a second.
Well, I got his
Sean
shot perfect
in
too.
The chat. What do you think about the nickname The Dungeon?
Oh yes,
for Ryan Dunn.
That's fantastic, Sean.
Like
We're gonna start using that.
Watch him put Anthony Edwards in the dungeon right now.
Put him in the dungeon.
Oh shit.
Yep, that's good.
I'm not entirely bought in, but I'll try.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know. It just feels
perfect.
It feels weird.
Come on.
I don't know.
Why?
Written wise, I get it.
In
it
the
works.
dungeon.
The dungeon?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah, that's like McHale with the warden. Like you're entering the dungeon.
I never really loved that one either.
You just don't like good nicknames. Then.
Maybe I don't know. I'll try.
How do you feel about the Count of Monte Asisto?
It's fine.
How do you feel about Slim Reaper?
I love that one.
Okay, there we go. That's a good.
That one's great. I'll work on it. I'll try and get more bought into it. But in the meantime, Let's talk about Oso Ighodaro.
Let's do it.
Because we also saw some more great things from Oso in his game tonight. So he finished with 6 points. He also had 2 blocks in there, 4 assists, 7 rebounds, 3 of 5 from the field.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the thing with Oso is that, like, there's, like, zero hesitation.
No.
He knows what he's going to do, and he's committed to doing it.
Yeah.
And I think that is, like, steps ahead of oftentimes many rookies, especially rookies who were taken where he was taken. You usually have more of a learning curve of, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I supposed to be doing this? Like, okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah. He's like, I've already made up my mind 3 plays ago.
No, he processes the game so quickly, and this is something that I talked about in my season preview of Oso over at GoPHNX.com. But, like, his playmaking, his passing ability, yes, it's very good for a big guy, but it feels like he's a step ahead of the defense every time. And it feels like whenever he catches the ball
play,
in the elbow.
Well, Oso was off ball, and he passed it to KD in the corner, and he screamed for fucking D Book to get a wide open 3 on the weak side was crazy.
Or on the perimeter, and he's surrounded by players that have good basketball IQ. They know to back cut because they know that Oso is going to find them. And that alone is good for, 2, 4, 6 points every night because you're going to catch defenders sleeping on those backdoor cuts every now and then. He's just such a smart player. Like, he has such a high basketball IQ. And again, this is going to be the overreaction with Dunn is that he's going to be, a near 40% shooter, that the 3 is real. The overreaction with Oso is that he's going to take Mason Plumlee's spot in the starting lineup or in the bench lineup.
I turned it over.
I'm not sure that's going to be an overreaction in a couple months. I'm cautiously optimistic because when he comes in here, there's a difference in athleticism. The playmaking is incredible. It just feels like when him and Ryan Dunn check in, they just have an immediate, tangible impact, and you don't always get that out of bench players. Mason has looked kind of out of sorts so far in the preseason, but I think it's because he's been kind of thrust into this starting role with guys that he doesn't know that well yet.
Yeah.
I think you put him in a bench role with Monte Morris, who he played with for 3 years in Denver. He'll be better, but I do think that Oso brings a lot to the table that maybe even a vet like Mason doesn't.
I will say, since you brought up Mason Plumlee,
yes,
I have seen a little bit of already leaning into
it's too early.
Passing off the torch of what happened to the person in that spot last season. Let's just pump the brakes for 5 minutes on that one.
Right.
Give him a chance. I know we're all excited about Oso and the potential that he could maybe take over some of those minutes or that spot entirely. But, let's not turn our backs on any of the guys just yet.
Right.
It's 2 preseason games. I'm overreacting in a positive way, but from a negative way, let's not overreact until, I don't know, 2 months into the regular
Give it a couple of
season.
months. Give it a couple months.
I'll take 2
I'm
weeks.
tripping.
At the very least. 2 weeks into the regular season at least.
It's going to be opening night. He's going to shoot 1 for 3, and people are going to be
die. But let's just pump the brakes on that one a little bit. But I am really excited about Oso and what we continue to see from him. Somebody in the chat said, where did it go? Oh, Nate. Nate said, I don't know if he already knows what he's going to do, but he's confident in every play, never lost or unsure of his moves. 100%. Nate is being a little bit facetious on the already knows what he's going to do, but it's the commitment to it that I think is what will be a positive to him. And he seems like he learns so fast, too. So even if he commits to the wrong thing and makes a mistake, I know he's going to take it and he's going to put it in his back pocket and continue to learn from it. But again, the confidence and the lack of hesitation is still so key.
So when we did overreactions after game 1, Nate was in the chat and said, overreaction, Oso Ighodaro is the best passing big man on this team. And we had a good conversation about it. And what he said was, seems like he's the most naturally gifted at finding and making those passes, and that Nurk and Mason Plumlee are really good at that because they're veterans and experienced. So even if he's not the best passer right now, he seems like the most naturally gifted ball movement oriented center that this roster has, which is great for this season, but also next season and hopefully many seasons after that.
Yeah, he had mentioned, and this was something that I had in my written season preview, that he's been learning from Mason Plumlee from Yusuf Nurkic. And he's kind of marveled at their processing speed, their ability to make these plays because they've been in the league for so long. I think by the end of this year, like, he will be on that same level because he just does have that natural processing speed and ability to read the game already. And once he gets more familiar with NBA defenses and, his teammates too, I think it's going to make a huge difference. He's going to be a monster on that end.
Okay, I think it's fair to say that in the first 2 preseason games, the rookies have exceeded our expectations for what we were hoping to see from them.
Yes.
But even with that being said, what else are you wanting to see from these guys in the next 2 preseason games from them? What do you want to see them build upon, or is there anything else that you're like, now that you've done all this, let me just add on to the pile and ask if you could do this next?
Just more of the same. I just want to see more. I want to see Ryan continue to take threes and continue to make plays on the defensive end. I want to see more of the shot blocking that he brings to the table because that's always exciting. And then for Oso, just keep doing. He's just such a well-rounded player that there's not a whole lot that I feel like they need to be doing differently. Just keep on doing what you're doing. I think more attempts at the rim. I would like to see Ryan Dunn get out in transition because he is deadly in transition. He is very athletic. I would like to see, more pick and rolls, more rim running from Oso. But again, we've seen a lot of this stuff. I just want to keep seeing more of it because, again, when these guys come in, they make a tangible impact, and it does have an effect on a crowd, just that excitement of, man, these rookies are good. It just brings something different to the table that no one outside of Bol really brings.
Yeah. All right. Eric, can you do me a favor?
Depends on what the favor is.
Can you put the dungeon as a poll in the chat?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
I think I already tweeted from our PHNX Suns account as well.
Let's do a poll in the chat. Just to kind of get a gauge. You ask a 100% yes or keep workshopping.
We'll do 3 options. 100% yes, like it, don't love it, and next nickname.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
We're not going to do much better than that. I'm going to tell you that now.
I'm starting to lean into it a little bit more. I'm starting to lean into it now. Okay. Now that we've talked through some things, I've had a minute to sit on it.
Think about being able to scream that at your TV when he locks down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with the game on the line.
Do it.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you just entered the dungeon. Does it not get you juiced? Because that gets me juiced.
There's a little juice there. There's some juice there.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys. Eric's going to put a poll in the chat for you, and we will revisit the results of that poll here in just a little bit. But we are going to take a quick break real quick, and we'll be right back to talk about Kevin Durant.
How did he just teleport, bro? You know what I'm
saying? You are the most dangerous of animals. What would you do to hold your wife again? Would you kill? Whoever stood between us. How many men? 1,000.
So here's the thing, Gerald. I looked on Bet365 after tonight. Not even after tonight's game. I looked. Star.
I'm a big, bright, shining star.
KD finished tonight with 21 points. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Oh, and then he added in a steal as well. He was 8 of 12 from the field, 4 of 6 from deep. Gerald, like you said, Sunday wasn't KD's game, but tonight KD came to play.
Yeah, he came out firing too. The first shot he hit was a ridiculous turnaround jumper on kind of a broken play where he was posting up on the baseline, just turned around and made a bad play look great. That's what he does. But the thing that I love is that they're involving him a lot more than we saw last year, but they're also getting him a lot of catch and shoot looks, which I know in the past when it's been, KD kind of posted up in the corner has been a point of contention for people. But a lot of this stuff, it's not just sticking KD in the corner. It's running specific actions and KD taking what is wide open, which is a catch and shoot 3. If you can get a shooter like Kevin Durant open catch and shoot 3s, he lives up to his nickname Easy Money. Like, that is exactly what you want offensively. 8 of 12 from the floor, 4 of 6 from 3. You love to see that. And just how many swishes he had tonight. It felt like every shot that he made was like an NBA Jam swish where it just goes right through the net. So it was good to see him bounce back from the first preseason game because, as always, some people tend to overreact to a preseason game. But Kevin Durant is still very much Kevin Durant.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think the ball movement, the player movement that we talked about at the top of the show, I think KD is really enjoying playing in this new system, if you will, this new mindset of Suns basketball. Because I think if anybody could thrive within it and or benefit the most from it, it could be KD because, again, there was so much put on his shoulders last year. And now he's got more options. There's less that he'll have to carry.
Yeah, and to start this game, it was kind of funny because he was defensively put on Cade Cunningham because Cade has a lot of size, and it was like, okay, here we go again with KD having to take on really tough defensive matchups, and he still probably will in the starting lineup, but then you throw Ryan Dunn in the game, and it's like, oh yeah, we have this guy that can do that and spell KD a little bit on that front, which is a really nice thing to have. But yeah, I really like the offensive process so far. I like that Kevin Durant has been involved, that all the stars have been involved. That's a tough thing to balance, especially when you do have a traditional point guard now in that starting lineup, but so far it's looked good process-wise.
Another thing that I do want to kind of point out, I don't remember who it was that called this out on Twitter, but I believe it was a play where Book was in ISO. But instead of the other 4 guys on the court just kind of watching him go to work, they were moving as well, which was something we didn't really see a lot of last year. Whatever reason you want to attribute that to, this change is a welcome change.
Yeah, no, it was that play where Book was on the block, I think, posting up, and you saw guys switch places, you saw a back screen get set, and you saw Kevin Durant come over to be one pass away, and so when Book made his move and draw to second defender, KD was wide open for 3. And it's that type of low-key things that you might not really notice when you're watching the game
I'm shooting
live.
bad shots.
Because you're looking at the ball, you're looking at what is Book going to do. But all this movement that's happening off the ball is exactly what freed up KD for this 3, and he drilled it. And that's the type of thinking that goes into these things we didn't see the movement in that way, whether it was the coaching, whether it was the players buying in, whatever you want to chalk it up to. So far, we're seeing a very different approach on that front.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else that you would like to discuss from tonight's game? Should we give a little love to Bradley Beal? Yeah. He had an okay game on Sunday, like you said, a little bit better tonight. Finished with those 12 points. He had 3 steals in this one, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds, 2 of 4 from deep.
Yep. He was letting it fly a little bit more than I think we saw the other night, not just in terms of attempts, but in terms of mentality and how he was attacking the first game. It felt like he pump faked and dribbled himself out of a couple of threes, got into trouble in the paint. Tonight, he was not hesitating, letting it fly. I also want to shout out, who's it? I want to shout out Royce O'Neal.
Oh, yeah.
Came in and had 11 points, got up shots. I know people are very high on Ryan Dunn, but Royce has a role to play on this team as well because he does have that three-point ability. He's not shy about letting it fly. And
3 of 5 tonight.
Yeah, 3 of 5 from deep tonight, 4 of 6 overall. That's a useful thing to have coming off your bench.
All right, we're King Nacho. Oh my gosh, let's go back. Sorry, I know I'm derailing us. Let's take a peek at what the poll in the chat says. So far right now, we have 50, and if the math doesn't math, this is YouTube, not me. Just throwing that out there. 56% are 100% yes on the nickname Dungeon for Ryan Dunn. 19% say I like it, don't love it. 25% say next. But Nacho, you're so sassy, said, I got it. Let's call him. Hold on, where did it go?
Dominate Dunn.
Dominate Dunn.
Which is by far and away the funniest thing Nacho's ever said in chat. Nacho's like 1 for 1,000 as far as comments go, but that one was a grand slam with the game on the line. That's a good comment. Dominate Dunn.
I mean, it's kind of funny, but no, Nacho, Brad? We can't do that.
I'm still disappointed that people aren't unanimously on board with the dungeon.
It's kind of almost split there.
Throw him in the dungeon.
We're basically 50-50.
Sub 60% is actually atrocious.
It makes so much sense. Throw him in the dungeon.
I don't know.
Lock him up.
I don't know. I think maybe we need to throw out a few more before we 100%.
We're not going to do better than the dungeon, I'm telling you.
If you can give me something that stirs me viscerally like the dungeon did,
right,
I'm open to it.
I felt moved. Like watching Mike Budenholzer and the Suns take 46 threes, I felt moved by it.
Yeah.
Apparently, Nacho also said that Bradley Beal played good.
Yeah,
I missed that.
He gave a half compliment towards Bradley Beal. So
Look at
new
us,
leaf
you guys,
for Nacho.
bro.
That was after he said Ryan Dunn should start about 6 times.
Yeah,
but we'll take it.
Yeah.
We will take the progress. Thank
We're
you, Nacho.
healing.
Steps in the right direction.
Suns Twitter, Suns world, we're all healing.
Look at what Mike Budenholzer has done to us.
Oh my God.
This is great.
And the 43s, I mean, those help too.
Yeah,
you
those
know
always
Holbrook's
help.
finest, man.
Oh my gosh. Gert Jr. said Lindsay is such a hater. I'm being one right now. I'm sorry. At least I'll admit it. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, not that I meant to completely derail us there, but Gerald, is there anybody else you would like to give some love to in this one?
I mean, I feel like Colin Gillespie a little bit too, and people have brought it up. He's looked really good in preseason so far. Like we talked about this in our season previews for him. He is too good to be in the G League. The question is whether he's good enough to be like a legit NBA backup point guard. This is just preseason, and he's spending a lot of time against backup guys and third stringers, but he's looked really good. He's a smart player. He's a good shooter. He's a good floor general. He's had some really great chemistry with Oso Ighodaro, which is something that I think he and Bradley Beal and other high IQ cutters on this team are going to have. So I've been really impressed with what I've seen out of him so far, too.
I love what I'm seeing from Colin Gillespie, but
I'm missing so many shots.
I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer.
You're in your hater mode tonight.
It's not, no, I'm not hating on him at all. I've just seen a lot of people be like, I want to see more Colin Gillespie. I want to see more, like, of all the guys that we have talked about who already are going to be struggling to find minutes on this squad, Colin Gillespie is at the top of that list, I think. Yeah. Unless something injury-wise happens. So I'm just saying, like, don't get your hopes up. Don't let Colin Gillespie be like the guy on the team that inevitably it's going to be this. Every year we have a guy like, we just want to see more of him.
What are we doing, man?
It's going to be him.
I get it is an exciting problem to have because last year and the year before it's felt like we've been saying we want to see more of this guy out of necessity because the options that were ahead of them were not good. This year I feel like we have a much better depth to where if we're saying I want to see more of this guy, it's because they've played well, but the guy in front of them or next to them has also played well. So it's a good problem to have. It's one that I don't envy Mike Budenholzer having to sort out. But I will say, for the people that want to see more Colin Gillespie and are already saying, oh, he's better than Monte Morris or anything, Monte Morris is not going out there with the same intent right now that Colin Gillespie is for a reason. He's an established vet. He has a spot on the roster. Colin Gillespie is a two-way player who has to prove himself and take advantage of every single minute he gets. Especially in preseason, when he gets his opportunities, you're going to see a different level of focus and hunger from a guy like a Gillespie than a Monte Morris.
He's showing you what he's capable of. This is his audition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and, if you want to see more Colin Gillespie, there's this awesome team called the Valley Suns that are going to be playing this year. And, in fact, we're going to have a takeover against the Stockton Kings. Breaking news.
Let's go.
So you can come watch Colin Gillespie with all of us on Monday, November 11th. Just go to gophnx.com. Get all the details. Just wanted to throw that in there.
But real quick, not to gloss over the situation that is happening when we are going to be out there. We're going to be like center court, 6 rows up. Like we're going to be like in the best seats in the house.
Yeah.
Basically.
In a
this
really
is the
awesome
season opener. Great environment. This is one takeover you do not want to miss. Plus, we're going to have pregame festivities as well with all of our takeovers. If you've never been to a takeover, this is a great introduction into them. We'll also announce our Suns takeovers later on here in just a few days, weeks, whatever. I don't know, at some point in time. But this one's live, so you can get your tickets right now. And remember, if you are a diehard, you get a discount on all of our ticketed events.
Yep.
Be a part of history. First game in Valley Suns history.
Yeah.
Be a part of that and be a part of it with us. Guys, the chat wants you to talk about Frank Kaminsky.
Do they?
Yes.
Frank.
Everybody!
We love Frank. 3 point, 1 of 4 tonight, 1 of 4 from deep tonight. But he got a rebound and a block in there as well. Only played 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Frank. You don't have to convince me
to
give Frank the 15th roster spot. I'm on board already.
I was glad he knocked down that last one because it felt like he had missed 2 or 3 on the same possession, and they were open. So I'm glad he knocked down the last one. Hopefully he's proving himself in training camp. I thought he was good the other night, not as great tonight, but there is that 15th roster spot that's open. So you never know. It could be for a two-way guy. It could be they leave it open to maintain their flexibility for a trade or a buyout signing mid-season, or they could give it to a guy like a Frank Kaminsky. But we will have to wait and see. He's going to have to make the most of his preseason opportunities, and I think over the next 3 games, he might get more, especially we assume at some point starters, big 3, will probably sit one of these games out at some point, I would imagine.
Yeah, Nate said Frank trying so hard to get that 3. Glad he got it.
He was.
But that's what... I get why he's taking so many as well in the preseason. That's what kind of sets him aside from what else we have in that position on this squad so far. That's kind of his biggest selling point, or one of the bigger selling points anyway. Frank brings a little bit of a difference in that role. Okay, on the other side, we have some cool things to share with you guys. One more thing from the chat, though, real quick. Where did it go? Lucas said, I've had those exact seats that I was talking about for the Valley Suns takeovers for Yotes games, and they are great seats, is what Lucas says. So I wasn't lying. I'm telling you for real. Anyway, go phnx.com. Okay, one more quick break, and then we'll come right back. It's, the beginning-ish of the week, about to be the middle of the week. And
usually, you think I'll take a break. You are crazy.
Performance and that good.
It's very comfy.
Yes. So you can head to brandonbills.com. You can use code PHNX for 20% off your first order. So take advantage of the discount. Gerald, you should get yourself a Brandon Bills hat.
I have one.
Well, there you should wear it more. You should wear it more.
I should.
20% off PHNX. Okay. We did see one really cool thing. Tonight's preseason game, or today's preseason game, I suppose, was played at Michigan State.
Yes.
Matt Ishbia's alma mater. Devin Booker seemed like he was right at home, even though he didn't go to Michigan State. But he did do a really cool thing. He rolled up and he gifted the Michigan State-inspired Book Ones to the MSU basketball team. This is really cool.
Those are really nice looking. I'm not, I'm not a green guy or a Michigan State guy, but those look really nice, honestly.
I agree.
Literally could have shot that.
Some of the colorways I've been a huge fan of. Some of them I've been a little questionable on. I know these have absolutely nothing to do with Suns colors, but I think this might be one of my favorite ones.
Those are real.
I'm pretty sure they're exclusive to the MSU basketball team.
Yeah, this was really cool. It was awesome seeing on Book's IG that Tom Izzo just walking around in his Book Ones and giving them to the team and taking a photo with the team. That was a really cool crossover because I know that Book.
Oh my God, I'm missing everything, bro.
How much being in that area means to him, and Matt Ishbia obviously being the Michigan State guy. It was a really cool kind of crossover thing that they were able to do, and those shoes look really nice.
Yeah, I'm a little bit jealous of them. If they didn't have the mascot, though, it was Sparky, right? On the side, I would want a pair of these. But
Sparty?
Yes, Sparty. There you go.
Sparty.
Sorry,
Sparky's just a Superior School's mascot.
It is, my bad. You know what I meant.
Easy to get mistaken.
It's a Superior mascot.
Hey.
Easy now, Gerald.
In innovation, yes.
Are we literally all ASU?
Yeah, we are. #1 in innovation.
Listen.
That's right.
Back, 2 decades ago or a decade ago, ASU was a party school. I get it. They actually have some pretty highly acclaimed schools. That's all I'm saying.
I don't really think not to get us too off topic, I don't really think ASU is a party school.
No, not anymore.
That's crazy.
It is, but it's not like it was a while ago.
I don't even think that a while ago it really...
it was
just the undie run that gave them the reputation. They didn't even have Greek life.
They did have Greek life.
Barely.
This is
it was off campus, and it was kind of random.
This is an after-show topic, but you are kind of off on that one.
Okay, whatever you say. Whatever you say. Anyway, back to the Book Ones. Super cool of Devin to do this. And it was just kind of cool that both teams agreed to have this game at Michigan State as well, because, cool for Detroit and also Matt Ishbia, but also Devin Booker too, who basically like a homecoming of sorts for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was neat that they were able to put this together and give us one extra preseason basketball game.
Yeah, it was a really cool event. Cool shoes, cool promotion as always. I did get word for the people that were asking in the chat about Damian Lee and what happened with him.
Yeah.
It looked like he took a shot from Ron Holland. I couldn't tell if it was the groin or to the quad or the leg or what. But he was defending a layup, took a shot, left the game, left the bench. But he is all right. Someone told me that he's fine, so hopefully nothing bad with Damian Lee.
Okay, good, because I was going to say that's literally like the worst thing ever.
Trust me, today was the Damian Lee season preview over at GoPHNX.com and on our YouTube channel, so I would have hated everything if on the very day when that drops, that happens. So,
oh my gosh.
Good to know that Damian Lee is fine.
Yes, okay. We have 2 additional super chats here real quick. The first one comes from, I don't know how would you say that?
Beyond Entertainment.
Beyond Entertainment?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you for your super chat. It said Eric needs more minutes. He's great on the show.
See our Colin Gillespie? He needs more minutes.
Eric is our Colin Gillespie of the season?
Pull him up from the G League. He's ready, coach.
Or is he our Bobo?
Is he our Bobo?
I think I'm a Ryan Dunn build.
You're a Ryan Dunn build? Okay.
What's that look for, Lindsay?
I feel like maybe... How?
I don't know.
You're not a rookie anymore. You're already a year in.
That's true.
So
this is my sophomore season.
It is. It's your sophomore season. I think you're just ready. I don't know.
I mean,
that's why I feel like Bobo makes more sense.
I'm more like, Chimezi Metsu.
Oh, God.
I don't like
don't
that
want to
either.
be Chimezi.
That's kind of rude to yourself.
We're not trying to trade you in a couple months.
What about a Tumani Kamara?
Yeah, I'm more like a Dwayne Washington Jr.
Oh, no, not Tumani. We never got to see
I
what
know.
Tumani could be.
I would love to be Tumani.
I mean,
That's what
Tumani's
everyone
great.
loves.
Yo, how am I fucked?
Yeah, but he don't.
Oh
he
my
don't play for
god,
us
man.
anymore.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just like, in the grand scheme of things, like sophomore
I got
season,
it.
everyone is excited.
I'm Mirza Teletovic.
Of course you are.
You can't be.
Of course you are.
Thank you.
Your hair's
Holy
not
shit,
good enough.
man.
That is true. I'll tell you what, that is very true.
No
Leo?
one's hair is, to be fair.
In fact, Leo sent us a super chat and said, I agree, Eric is the man. Give him that final roster spot. Listen, we are looking for our 15th man, so we'll just have to keep you posted. I guess we'll find out
Yes, we
in
will.
Check's calendar, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Since regular season is here,
Yeah.
well, we should know maybe by then. Well, yeah, at the very least, if they're going to keep it open, right?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, so.
Mhm.
Michael Ramirez sent us a super chat. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate you. Said, it's crazy how much better Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro appear with the real squad. Mason Plumlee is going to lose minutes to Oso and Royce O'Neal minutes to Ryan Dunn. It appears KD has taken a liking to the young Suns.
Absolutely, and this is something we talked about at Summer League a lot. Their coach Vince Lagarza had said a lot of the things that these guys do, it's not going to show up on a Summer League stage with a lot of new teammates and not the same level of talent. It is going to show up when they start playing the real games with the real team, and so far we've seen exactly that. So I'm encouraged by that for sure.
Yeah, and also, who better to learn from than a guy like Kevin Durant, right? I feel like if there is one guy on our squad, I'm not saying you can't learn from the others, okay? But that one at the top of the list is KD, that if he comes to you and he takes a liking to you and he wants to help you grow and develop,
Yeah.
you're in the best position that you could have asked for.
Super validating.
Yeah, 100%. All right, that'll do it for us on the post-game edition tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. Shout out to the Suns for giving us another great win to celebrate with some sexy sacks and together. We'll be back tomorrow with a 3 p.m. show for you, so plan to come hang out with us then. And be sure to hit that thumbs up button if you're here with us on YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts. And, of course, follow the show on social at PHNX_Suns. You can also follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Eric at Eric Ruby with a K. And, of course, you can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. Gerald, you want to say something?
Yeah, shameless self-plug. Go to GoPHNX.com, read the Damian Lee article, go to our YouTube page, look at the Damian Lee season video breakdown. Again, this guy has a perspective that is just completely different, and I think his story and the things that he had to say are worth telling. Ahoy, hoy.
Yo, City like the mayor.
New York City like the mayor.
Seems like you always...
How the fuck you gonna keep it a buck if you ain't got no bucks? I was about to. Oh yeah. I'm only played 2 quarters. I miss NT. I can't fucking talk. Just shut the fuck up.
Hopefully we're going to have 0 incidents in the process.
Is this tomorrow? Oh, I'm so excited about that. I'm also excited to see what you eat. As you mentioned, NBA Today is next. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Welcome to NBA Today with Malika Andrews, live from Los Angeles.
Those long arms and quick hands of Dunn generate a Phoenix steal. Up ahead to Durant, who brings the boom.
Well, it wasn't just Kevin Durant bringing the boom. Coming up on NBA Today, we had a star-filled night of preseason hoops. Everything you missed from the jam-packed action. Plus, find out why one person on our panel is higher on the Knicks than any other team in the Eastern Conference. And who's going to become Steph's sous chef this season now that he's lost his All-NBA shooting guard? Well, we've got one of our own here in studio.
From Indiana University, number 4, Victor Oladipo. Here's Oladipo. And he blocked it again.
He's looking for it all.
7 seconds. Oladipo to win it.
Another one. Oladipo says, "This is my city."
I'm about to say, bro.
We have a new analyst making his NBA Today debut, the 2nd overall pick in 2013, the 2-time All-Star, Victor Oladipo. Welcome to NBA Today.
Thank you for having us.
Got his Sunday's best
I
song.
know, he's all dressed up. He's the Masked Singer, so we get to hear and see, his full outfit here. I promise it won't be harder, though, than that show. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're also joined in our studios, of course, by Brian Windhorst, Kendrick Perkins. I'm Malika Andrews. Let's show Victor how we do it on this show, wasting no time, because 28 out of 30 teams, they played at least one preseason game, and we may have had the best action yet last night. Let's call it a little tip-off tune-up, shall we? We're going to start with the Miami Heat here, Brian. Bam Adebayo pulling up for that straight-on 3, gets that one to go. And then later in the first here, Jimmy Butler drives, spins.
Flop warning in the preseason.
Well, 11 points in 16 minutes here for Butler. But LaMelo Ball got some good action.
He's looked terrific in the first couple of games for the Hornets, wearing ankle braces and hitting threes, 4 of them in the first quarter alone.
24 points, made 6 3-pointers in total. The Hornets get the win in that one. Hey, Perk, let's check in on the Hawks and the Pacers here. Trae Young, nice little rainbow 3.
He's going to have to hit a lot of those this season in order for the Hawks to be relevant.
He had 17 points in 21 minutes here, Perk, but here come the Pacers.
Pacers are pacing. Pascal Siakam doing what he do best, running the gaps, filling the lanes, receiving and finishing.
This, though, may have been the play of the game.
How did it get through? I still don't know. I seem to see a slow-mo replay on that.
Trae Young checking the vision there. In the waning seconds, the Hawks.
This is known as the triple Lundy.
Wow. The triple what?
Victor got that joke? Oh, I thought it was stretching there.
Let's go to the Bulls with the Cavs here early in the first tier. You just sat down with Donovan Mitchell a few days ago, Brian.
He's happy. He's healthy. He's paid. He wants to be in Cleveland. And they're
playing great 2 minutes ago.
He had 12 points in this game, but he also said, look out for Evan Mobley, Victor, and in this game you needed to do just that.
Yeah, definitely. If you see him, he's had a great summer. He's improved tremendously. And you see him attacking the rim right here. It's going to be tough for guys to guard this shit.
Yeah, 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 blocks for Mobley. All right, let's check in on the Suns and the Pistons. Kevin Durant looked real solid in this one. The Pistons turn it over. Here comes Kevin Durant picking up exactly where he left off in Paris.
Yeah, he struggled in his first preseason game. He did not struggle in this one. Imagine if he had played at Michigan State. Think they would have another national title?
Look at his ball movement here.
pretty good. Any ball movement that results in a Durant 3 is a good ball movement.
Well, and Tyus Jones is a huge catalyst of that. Then Kevin Durant somehow gets that to go. 21 points in this one. Let's take a listen. Well, and Tyus Jones, a huge catalyst of that. Then Kevin Durant somehow gets that to go. 21 points in this one. Let's take a listen to Kevin Durant after the game.
We watched film yesterday, this morning. Try to understand, what we need to, do better. We're trying to build stack days, build good habits. So as much film as we can watch early on, as much as we can see of ourselves, what we need to do is good. We got a lot of space out there. The guys are willing to pass it. We're trying to look for more threes. So, once it comes my way, I just try to be aggressive and shoot over the defense, keep the defense honest, and away from my teammates when they drive it. So when that ball comes, I got to be able to knock down.
All right, so we've got a little bit of a preseason sample size here. 2 games so far from the Suns. Their core of Beal, Booker, KD. They have all played, as well as their new point guard, Tyus Jones. They currently are tied with the 5th shortest odds to win the West. So, Victor, do you think that they are sleepers in the Western Conference?
Yes, definitely. I think they're sleepers in the West. I think it's a prudent year for them. With the players they have, you just can't count them out, honestly. And they've kind of had some disappointments the last couple of years, but I think they're primed and ready to make a push.
Yeah, we played that clip yesterday of Bradley Beal saying, hey, I missed 30 games last year, we still won 49. I would just point out that Kevin Durant played 75 games last year, the most he played since he hurt his Achilles back in 2019, and they still had some struggles, especially down the stretch in fourth quarters. I was very high on this team all through last year. I kept believing that they were going to work it out. Even though they've improved, and even though they've changed the coach, and even though they've had some more continuity, I'm just going to wait back and watch. I agree that they absolutely have the potential to be a great team, but I need to see a little bit more this year. I'm going to have to see them.
I don't think you know what the real problem was, Wendy.
Victor, prove it. That's adorable. Wendy, I just have to see it. That's cute. Look, I ain't tap dancing today. I came in hot. If I'm dancing, damn it, I'm doing the butterfly. I'm going to drop it like it's hot. Okay, look, here's the thing. They're my dark horse to win it all. They're my dark horse to win it all. We saw a disgruntled, unhappy Kevin Durant average 27 points last year, and he wasn't seeing eye to eye with Frank Vogel. Now, he's coming in fresh start, fresh off of winning the gold medal. We saw the joy that he was playing with. Now he has Mike Budenholzer over there. Mike Budenholzer is coming in with something to prove. Felt like he shouldn't have got fired from the Milwaukee Bucks. Bradley Beal is happy. We saw how great that Devin Booker looked in the Olympics, and they filled in the pieces. Yeah. Again, this guy Plumlee, I don't know, he is so valuable to this team. Every single team he's been on, he's helped them move the goalposts on both ends of the floor.
I hear you saying, dark horse to win it all, but if I told you it was the Thunder and the Timberwolves in the Western Conference Finals, would you be surprised?
No, because so many teams, think about it, Malika. Yeah, they got question marks, right? And that's why there's question marks on every single team in the Western Conference, and that's why it wouldn't surprise me, and I'm ready to jump off the porch right now and say, you know what? The Phoenix Suns are my dark horse.
Don't jump off the porch, Parker. I will say this. I liked it better now where we really could make a case for 5 or 6 teams in the West to win the West than it was a decade ago when the Warriors won it every year over year. And so the Suns are absolutely there. I will say this. They have really added some role. When they made that Beal trade, they just didn't have much on this team. They have done a nice work in their front office over the last year to add some role players. Grayson Allen, Mason Plumlee, like Kirk said. Tyus Jones is one of the best value signings of the offseason. They are a deeper team this year. There's no reason why they can't come together, but I just have to, I'm burned on this team, because I sat up here at this desk and defended them last year. Here they come, and they never came. They were done in the first round.
Well, the Suns weren't the only team, to address some needs this offseason. The New York Knicks, of course, they made a very splashy trade right before training camp. The team, they just held their season tip-off event last night in Madison Square Garden, which meant it was a fan's first close-up look at Karl Anthony Towns as a member of the Knicks. Now, the whole squad, though, was in attendance, including Jalen Brunson, who, if you listen very closely, had the entire arena chanting MVP for him. The fans are clamoring to know if this can be the first team to make the conference finals, of course, since 2000. Perk, you're the self-appointed mayor. I don't know if you know that, Vic, that's what we call Perk here on this show, of New York City. How can they reach those lofty expectations?
It's going to be on the back on the back of the individual that they build this team around, right? And that's Big Body Brunson. I don't know if I want to call him that this year. He looked like he didn't drop a couple pounds, which is going to be scary for the rest of. Yeah, medium body.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? He's still a whack body. Don't get
this is insane, bro.
Missed up.
Missing
but here's
fucking
the thing,
shots,
right?
man.
When you look at Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, he was the best player in the Eastern Conference last year, averaging 28. Now you go out, you get Mikal Bridges, you get Karl Anthony Towns.
What is that bullshit?
He have the perfect pieces around him to go out there and be successful. He knows it. Everybody in the organization know it. And I believe that he's a top 10 player in the NBA right now. I really do.
Yeah, the Knicks were a healthy Jalen Brunson away from being in the Eastern Conference Finals last year. But not only that, I believe the acquisition of Karl Anthony Towns having to play center, and you know, making sure he stays out of foul trouble, and them not being as as deep as they are in that position as they are in other positions.
That's fair.
In a role too.
The Knicks have a two-pronged bet on what's going on here. Number one, they are betting on Jalen Brunson. That's obvious. But look at all of their transactions. Whether it was OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl Towns, all of those players are designed to maximize what Brunson does. Spread the court out, help him on defense, give him a pick and roll, a perfect pick and roll partner at center. The second part of their wager is that this is going to be a 3 or 4 year window. All of these guys are signed. All of these guys are in their primes with many years to go. They're basically saying, yeah, we want to compete this year, but we're going to try to outlast this Celtics group. We're going to try to outlast this Bucks group. We think we can outlast the 76ers. That's what they're doing. This is a multi-year play. They're going to have more opportunities to add to the roster going forward. Keep that in mind.
Let me just check in with our representatives here. Patience is exactly what this New York Knicks fan base is known for. I hear what you're saying, Brian, but can you get on board with that?
I won't. I got the Knicks coming out of the East this year. I think they're going to finish with
Knicks Suns in the finals.
No. That's my dark horse. But listen, here's the thing. I have them having the best record in the league. I think they're built for it. It's a lot of pressure on Tom Thibodeau this season to make sure he get the best out of guys on both ends, and also to make sure that he trusts his bench, right? You look at guys like Landry Shamet, right? A guy that's a veteran, that's been around, that knows how to play the game, that knows how to run the offense, that knows how to space the floor. And then you talk about this young man right here, a young killer, and Deuce McBride. We saw what he did in the postseason. He's been balling out in the preseason. They have the necessary pieces to get it done right now. Again, what their relationship is going to look like between Karl Anthony Towns and Tom Thibodeau is going to play a huge part in this, because Cass is going to have to be ready to play 40 plus.
Yeah, shit is not sweet, we started this conversation by saying, how can they reach those lofty expectations? Health is going to have a whole lot to do with it. And even then, the reward that you get is going to be the Boston Celtics. But hey, Perk is picking them to represent the East Conference here on.
I didn't see that coming.
Still to come on NBA Today, my friends. We got a jam-packed show, a lot to get to tonight on ESPN. We're going to get our first glance at the new-look Warriors. Just how far can Steph carry the Dubs this season? We have a live report coming from Sacramento. Plus, the finals. The matchup is set in the W. Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo. She is here to give us the recipes for success for each squad. And we're talking about Risa Shea, Sarr, Edey, Dillingham, and more. The rookies from the class of 2024. What have they showed you so far? Who has the most promise? We have the answers in a special edition of Rookie Roundup next.
Oh, sorry,
we all bring something.
Win for a miracle.
We're in Minnesota once again, just extending that lead. And then Collier buries that three over Alyssa Thomas. Minnesota up 65-48 at the end of the third. So midway through the fourth quarter here, I mean, it's Collier again. You're going to be familiar with this drumbeat. The jumper over Thomas has her 5th playoff game with 20 points, 10 rebounds, the most in Lynx playoff history. So let's just finish this one up. Later in the corner, the Lynx up by 13. McBride drives into the lane, scoops it up, plus the foul. The Lynx win this one. Collier had 27 points, 11 rebounds, and they are dancing their way to the NBA Finals. Here's head coach Cheryl Reeve after the game.
Fuck, man.
This team, as Becky described us, Becky Hammond in Vegas described us as has good players. That's a great team. That's how special this team is that we didn't scare anybody. I'm not sure that anybody, at any point in the season was like, yeah, they have a real shot at winning a championship, other than the people that are in our corner. And I think we're continuing to have to make believers, including, the round we just played and the round before that.
I think we're enjoying the ride, and we want to, it'd be nice to close it out in 3, not have to go to 5 to stay together, but... We're going to cut it off.
Collier and the Lynx did their electric slide all the way into the WNBA Finals. Rebecca Lobos here to slide with us here. Napheesa Collier, Rebecca, has been unbelievable this postseason. Before we move on to the finals, can you just contextualize what we're seeing from her?
She is great.
JP Morgan Wealth Management.
Week 1 free pick.
Move this offseason, it was acquiring DeMar DeRozan. How has he fit so far in Sacramento?
Yeah, Malika, I actually just sat down with DeMar a couple moments ago in the Kings practice facility here at Golden One, and he told me how excited he is to just be playing basketball back in his home state of California, but especially for this Kings team that he called both hungry and plays with a chip on its shoulder. He said that being here is going to give him the best opportunity to be as successful as possible. He called his two-man game with Domantas Sabonis something that's going to be unguardable, and said he's really looking forward to playing next to De'Aaron Fox, a fellow clutch player, because it's just going to take the pressure off of one another. So Malika, I asked him, okay, the game's on the line, shot clock is winding down, who is taking that last shot? And he laughed and said, actually, we haven't discussed it yet. And honestly, that is going to be an in-the-moment game-time decision, but that is the beauty of having us both on the court. I'm also told his voice, his leadership is just being so well received and respected in the locker room. So everyone is really happy to have DeMar here in Sacramento.
Is that baby doo-up?
That's baby doo-up. Who's going to get to take that last clutch shot when you got kind of number 1 and number 2 in clutch buckets? All right, let's go to the Warriors side of things here, Kendra. They look a lot different than the last time we saw them, namely Klay Thompson. Who are you hearing could be his replacement in the starting lineup, which he occupied for the better part of the last decade?
Yeah, that's been a huge storyline through the preseason and training camp for the Warriors. And that competition, I'm told, is still pretty wide open. The coaching staff doesn't know which way they want to go. Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, DeAnthony Melton, those are the 3 guys really competing for that.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
DeAnthony Melton, he started that first preseason game against the Clippers in Hawaii. And I'm told that the team has been so impressed with him throughout camp. That's one of the reasons why he got that starting nod. But Malika, that doesn't mean he's going to start again today in Sacramento. Steve Kerr has been open about wanting to, try out different combinations and different lineups. So we're going to see that throughout the remainder of the preseason.
Kendra, thank you so very much. Enjoy tonight's game. I got to tell you, doing television with your sister, it never gets old. But we're less than 2 weeks away from opening night. The Warriors, they have some major decisions to make at shooting guard. As Kendra said, there's sort of 3 options that we are looking at here, right? There's Buddy Hield, who has led the league in his three-pointers made over the last 5 seasons.
Like, what
and you
the
got
fuck
Brandon
am I supposed to do
Podziemski,
about
who
that
has led
shit,
the
bro?
league in charges last year. And then you have defensive ace DeAnthony Melton. But how lucky are we? We have an expert to help successful shooting guard in this league, Victor. As an all-NBA guard, who do you think Steve Kerr should start?
Well, if I had to choose, all 3 players are great in their own right. But if I had to choose to pair next to Steph, and I thought it was a great fit, I would have to go with DeAnthony Melton. And here's some clips from the first game to reflect my choice. Here we have DeAnthony Melton spreading the floor for Steph. Steph's coming off an angle screen. He has to read the weak side. He sees that Norman Powell on the weak side is helping too much, and he sprays it to Anthony Melton. Anthony Melton hits an open 3. In the next clip, you'll see him pick James Harden, one of the best guards in the league, up three-quarter court, force him to use the screen away from the screen, cause it a turnover weak side, and the Warriors come down and get an easy dunk, easy layup, just off of his defense. And in the last play, you'll see him stay with the play, stay in the game. Steph misses a wide open mid-range, but DeAnthony's there, steal it from Zubac. And Steph rewards him for his efforts, and he makes a wide open three for the Warriors. So, you know, he's shot pretty much 38% from three his whole career, and he's going to guard other players, the best players in the league, so take some pressure off Steph.
You know what? That's a pretty good case that you just made. Let's bring it back here with the rest of the group, because DeAnthony Melton started the Warriors' first preseason game this past weekend, so we'll see who Steve Kerr decides to go with out in Sacramento. Well, that was nice. I like that. Welcoming in our senior Anscape writer, David Dennis Jr., to the conversation as well. There's a lot of paths here that the Golden State Warriors can take. Brian, if you are trying to choose, you're at this fork in the road, where are you headed?
Yeah, so you talked about the shooting guard situation. Steve Kerr actually believes he's got 13 different players he'd feel comfortable putting in the rotation. He's obviously not going to play all 13. Ask Jason Tatum about how many he likes to play. But
to go there.
That's one path that they can go, is to try to figure out how many lineups, what lineup works the best. The other path is, let's look what they've done since last season. Last January or February, they called the Lakers and asked about LeBron. Now, the talks didn't go anywhere, but they were prepared to make a big trade for LeBron. In June, they were trying to trade for Paul George before he opted out of his contract and went to the 76ers. In July, they were trying to trade for Lauri Markkanen. This is a team that clearly wants to make a big deal and is looking for a big deal. So while they do have a very nice, deep team, which is it going to be? I think right now, obviously, they're going to try to develop these 13 guys that Steve Kerr likes, but let's keep that other part in the back of our mind.
Yeah, we'll keep it in the back of our mind, and the way the season goes, you know, if this roster plays like you think that they might play, they might not have to worry about, you know, who they're looking for come trade deadline, because I'm looking at this roster, right, and I'm struggling to find how this is much worse than the roster that won the championship in 2022. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win the championship.
Oh, my God.
The West is a lot better. The competition is a lot better. But when we look at the two things that they were missing a lot of defense. Now they have that with Melton. Now they have that with, Peyton is coming back. They have defensive flexibility. And they have 3-and-D guys to play around Steph. And they have flexibility and depth. These are the things that you want, and the Warriors have been missing. I think that there is a devastating closing lineup somewhere in this roster for Steve Kerr to find. The offense is going to be great. An offense with Steph Curry is always top in offensive rating whenever he plays. It's about all those other things that they have been missing. We all talked about sleepers. I'm not sure how we're talking about sleepers without talking about the Golden State Warriors.
I'll tell you how I'm not. I'll tell you why they're not even close to being a sleeper. They're a play-in team. They're a play-in team. And the reason being is because, look, is Steve Kerr a Hall of Fame coach? Absolutely. Do I trust him? Hell no. Right? He walked into a golden situation when he took over the job of being the Warriors head coach, a culture, a foundation that was already built. And then the team that, the Warriors, the KD Warriors, I could have coached that team and won the championship. This time, with no expectations, no pressure, Steve Kerr, we need to see if you can turn water into wine. What are you going to do with these young guys that you have on the bench? We talk about Podziemski. What kind of role is he going to play on this team? Moses Moody. I don't want to mess up his name like I did 3 years ago.
Well
Damn it, I got it right. What are you going to do with Moses Moody? What type of minutes is he going to get? What type of role is he going to bring? The most important player outside of Steph Curry is Jonathan Kuminga, who I believe should be the second option on this team, but Steve Kerr got to instill that confidence into him to let him know he is that second option.
Not to mention there's still an extension that is dangling over Jonathan Kuminga's head, and whether or not that'll happen. You said, DDJ, that this Golden State Warriors team, you do not see much difference between that roster and 2022. You saw those Warriors teams up close, Vic. Can you get on board with our friend over here?
Yeah, I would disagree.
That was so polite.
Yeah, that was so kind. I'll accept that. Yeah.
Definitely disrespectful.
No disrespect. I think it's just a different team, and every year is different for everyone. So. They got a chance.
Are you okay?
Just because you never know how the year goes and the year might end, but You know, we'll see.
What the hell is going on?
Do what?
There's always a chance in the beginning. I think it's equal playing field.
Yeah, when you have one of the three most devastating offensive players in the league, you always have a chance. And we're talking about in relation to that 2022 roster, one of the key parts of that was Andrew Wiggins and what he did. And he was the second best player in that playoff team. Yeah. And I think that we are going to see a bounce-back season with Wiggins after a couple of tough seasons off the court.
Let me ask you a question. Do you trust Andrew Wiggins from what you witnessed the last 2 years out of him? Do you trust him right now?
I trust. He has.
Yes or no?
Yes, I do trust him. I trust him.
Do you trust Draymond Green offensively from what we've seen in the decline in his game offensively? Do you trust him?
I don't.
Okay, so you lose Klay Thompson. You're going to have to get something out of these young guys. Draymond is not the Draymond of old. The West has gotten better, right? We could run off a list of teams right now in the Western Conference that are better, about 8 of them that are better than the Golden State Warriors, just on paper alone, that we will pick.
You could be right about that, but I don't like how you're underselling Steve Kerr. I mean, first off, I disagree that he didn't set the culture in 2014.
These blow-bys are crazy,
set
man.
the culture in 2014, but that's a 10-year-old argument. I'm not going to do that.
Well, that's what we do here on this show.
You know, he did a great job in 2022 putting that team together and bringing that team back from where they were. He has proven he can really get a culture of a team going together. He's got a big job. I'm not going
to. He got a huge job. His record without Steph Curry is like 67 and 106. It don't even matter.
Why? You bring Jackson's record without Michael Jordan. You can't look at don't use that stat anymore.
So let me
because it was a tank. They were tanking.
Let's take one step back if we could, right? Play-in team, similarities with 2022. The Golden State Warriors have become synonymous with a dynasty. They've become synonymous with the NBA Finals. They've become synonymous with winning. So, Vic, in your mind, a successful season for Golden State, based in this reality that we're living in, is what?
I mean, if it's up to Perk, just winning a playing game. I think that's enough in itself, and we'll see.
A successful season for this Golden State Warriors team is the first round of the playoffs. No one will complain. That's a successful team. No one will call it a failure.
Kirk and I are in agreement on that.
Yeah, I think he won a good playoff run, but what's just as important is you want to see these young guys be building blocks. I want to see Kuminga be that guy. I want to see Podziemski be that guy. I want to see something that you can build around for when Steph does eventually start to decline, that you have building blocks for a championship team to get squeezed one more title out of that team.
You do agree with me.
Damn,
well, clearly,
I was late.
Early. We saw tonight in their preseason game in Sacramento, right? The Kings host the Warriors at 10:30 Eastern. It's right here on ESPN. Perk, you got to stick around. The NBA countdown. You, me, Ryan, we kick off our coverage. That's at 10 p.m. So I need another cup of coffee. The future of the league, it is in one man's hands. Victor Wembanyama is about to take over.
Better.
Our Victor, though,
It's much better.
We'll